Honorable colleague, I've examined. Honorable Fred, please lay your petition. We're not taking petitions much. All petitions, please, normally from now, so that we don't spend too long in the chambers. We'll just be sent straight to deliver your petitions to the Committee on Public Petitions. But Honorable Fred, where are you? Honorable Fred, please lay your petition. Or rather, read your petition real quick and lay it.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Fred Azibapu, representing the good people of Ogbia Federal Constituency. I am from Bayelsa State. Before me is a petition from a Ketelai community of Oloibri district of Ogbia local government of Bayelsa State against the Nigerian Agip Oil Company Limited for its several provocative and inequitable actions and inactions towards the people of the community. Mr. Speaker, the community is appealing to the House for urgent intervention and redress due to its consistent gas flaring, massive erosion arising from rig operations of the company since 1978, a wrong naming of the oil fields. The petition also demands that the Agip Oil Company should rename the oil fields, that the agreements entered into between the Nigerian Agip Oil Company and the community be implemented, that the Nigerian Agip Oil Company fulfill its corporate social responsibilities to their host communities. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, kindly intervene. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ningi, is it a public petition? Is yours a public petition? Okay, please, very quickly. Honorable colleagues, because of I believe I sent something to the platform today regarding enclosed spaces and the higher the risk. So all petitions from now on, just send them directly to Public Petitions Committee. Honorable Ningi.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues. I am Abdullah Isaad Abdul Qadir. I represent Ningi Warji Federal Constituency of Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, with me is a petition by a citizen, Alhaji Ibrahim Bala of Ofarfada in Ningi. This petition is a complaint against unlawful conduct, dereliction of duty, and high-handedness against the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. In summary, Mr. Speaker, the petitioner is asking the Honorable House to use its good offices to cause the justice to be administered to him, because he had written the Economic and Financial Crime Commission a petition against one Indian national and a Nigerian who misrepresented facts to him and asked him to go and procure title documents on a piece of land covering about 200 acres in Papalanto in Ogun State. But when he realized that it was a dubious exercise, he wrote a petition against them and submitted it to the Economic and Financial Crime Commission since 2010. Until present, Mr. Speaker, the case has not been taken properly to court. So he asks this Honorable House to come to his aid and rescue him and cause the Economic and Financial Crime Commission to do the needful. Thank you.
All petitions referred to Committee on Public Petitions. Colleagues, I believe many of us, it skipped our minds or we forgot that part of the resolution on the motion moved by Honorable Agusoye, I think on Thursday, that in standing with rape victims that we were supposed to wear black today. I think it was just oversight on the part of many of our members, but I believe it was symbolic, and I believe members in spirit are also with us on this particular campaign against rape. Before we move further, I believe we have two personal explanations, one from Dr. Achibong and also from Honorable Ahmed Jaha. Who's going first? Honorable Achibong, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I come under Order 8, Rule 5, on personal explanation. That by the indulgence of the House and the leave of the Speaker, a member may make a personal explanation. Although there will be no questions before the House, I won't go further. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, why I'm coming under this order is that I want to make a special explanation with regards to my presentation last week on the floor of this chamber. Before then, I want to apologize to the House and the entire Nigerians and globally, and especially the women folk. Because while I was making my presentation towards the end, before I was called to order, I used words which I discovered were very wrong. And I must tell you, honorable colleagues, that the last five days of my life has been hell. I have received a lot of backlashes, a lot of abuses, a lot of, I don't know what to say. And I want to beg for their forgiveness that I say no to rape. And I support the most grievous punishment that will be given to anybody that engages in this heinous act. There is no justification for it, no matter what. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Thank you, Dr. Achibong. We'll take Honorable Jaha's personal explanation. Normally, under the sequence of our order paper, personal explanation is the last, number 11. It comes after motions of urgent public importance. But for today, we have skipped, or we have moved it back before urgent public importance because of the importance of the personal explanation. So ordinarily, it will come after urgent public importance. Honorable Jaha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Ahmed Jaha Babao is my name. Chibok Dambuo goes a federal constituency, including the remaining 105 not yet recovered Chibok girls I represent. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want to come under Order 8, Rule 5, for a personal explanation with the leave of the House. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, mistakes are for those who make effort, even though the wrong ones. It is then left for those who make them to own them, take responsibility, take apology, and dedicate themselves to genuine repentance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have made a mistake that has offended the sensibilities of fellow Nigerians and indeed fellow human beings, particularly women who are our mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters. By way of background, I would like to recall on Thursday, the 4th day of June 2020, a matter of urgent public importance was raised in the plenary of this hallowed chamber by a honorable member from Lagos. The colleague came under Order 8, Rule 4 of our standing orders, which of course became open for contribution by members. In my contribution to the debate on the floor, or at the floor. I suggest that persons who commit act of rape should be met with highest punishment on earth, which is death. After suggesting that government in Nigeria, that is state governments in Nigeria, should domesticate relevant laws such as Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, that is popularly known as VAPP, and other relevant laws against gender-based in the country. Unfortunately, I sincerely added another caution, saying that women should cultivate the habit of proper and decent dressing to avoid unnecessary harassment from men who may not, in one way or the other, control themselves. While I totally reaffirm my position that rapists should face death sentence, I regret the part that talks about the dressing of a woman. I deeply apologize for this because, as some have rightly argued, my added comment could imply that women who are victims share the blame of being raped. This clearly could not have been the intention of somebody who suggested death penalty for rapists. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the fact is that a woman's choice of dress not to justify rape himself on a lady to exercise the right to choose what she wears. There is simply no justification for that. With women showing discipline, men must show more. As a man that has been happily married for more than 16 years and blessed with 5 children, including a daughter, I know that it is divine responsibility for every good man to protect and preserve the pride of a woman. This is because women have less strength, which accounts for the irresponsible way they are raped by evil men. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am more than 1,000,000% against rape, and I am more so because I have a daughter, and I cannot imagine how parents feel when their daughters fall to the evil of rapists. As a public servant, from my days at the Borno State House of Assembly to my days as Commissioner for Higher Education, I have been known as someone who respects women and tries to support and empower them. As a public servant, I am normally confident with women when they set their minds to deliver on task. As a politician, I tend to be relaxed when a woman promises me her vote. Most women stick to their guns. Most women are born with the natural strength of endurance. This is why they are able to go through childbirth, to nurture families, take care of relations, and still able to earn decent livelihood. Women do things with completeness. I admire this so much because I have benefited from the sincerity and commitment of a woman. I hold women with highest respect, with great pride, and with so much love that is pure and responsible. To my honorable colleagues in the House of Representatives, who may have been disappointed by my comment, especially female lawmakers, and my entire constituents, I say to you that I am deeply sorry. I apologize to all women folks and to all the responsible men that should be pained whenever a woman is touched. I apologize to all of you. May God bless our women folk. May God bless the 9th National Assembly, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and kindly accept my apology. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Honorables Achibong and Honorables Achibong and Ahmed Jah. Let me say that the House as an institution and in keeping with its legislative agenda, is very sensitive to the issues of women. And I know the two members, Honorable Achibong and Honorable Jah, very well. and I know them personally, and the House knows you guys very well. And I believe that you are very sensitive when it comes to the plight of women and the issues surrounding surrounding gender. We believe that to err is human and to forgive is divine. Both. The House is very proud of you both for having the courage and the integrity and for showing leadership in acknowledging that you have erred. And I believe Nigerians have heard you loud and clear. And I thank you for setting the records straight and setting your position straight. The matter is now rested. Honorable Elumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anoto Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 4, and 7, bordering on matter of urgent national.
There is a member standing up and yelling across the aisle to another member, standing and yelling and trying to read it. Please, this is not what this chambers is. The chambers is not a marketplace. Please, can we be seated and hear the motion of urgent public importance by Honorable Elumelu? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a few days ago, some people who were locked up in a Chinese company in Edo State of Nigeria made a Save Our Souls call, telling and giving their story that a Chinese company locked all of them up and refused any of them exiting from that premises. There are about 1,000 and they have not been allowed to even see their family. And even as it relates to the issue of COVID-19, they are equally not sure what is actually wrong with their health. But they believe that they are sick and they are seeking the leave of this house to please come to their aid so that police and COVID-19 task force can come in there and ensure that they are all released. This is my motion.
Any seconder. Honorable Nkiruka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejota, represent the good people of Chukwuatumunu, Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by Minority Leader. I so second.
Those in support of the motion is urgent and public, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Do you mind if we just put the question? Okay, you haven't read the motion. Okay, just read the motion quickly. We won't debate it. We'll just put the question after that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anoto Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. The House knows that with concern that Young Zing, a Chinese steel company located at Ugwa, community of Edo State, Nigeria, is said to have locked down its Nigerian workers within the company's facility, thereby depriving them access to their families since 24th day of March 2020 till date. The House is aware that the workers numbering over 1,000 are holed up there in 10 persons to a room bunker, making them live in a hazardous environment which has hindered the health of most of the workers. The House is further aware that these staffers are being made to work in a slavish conditions 24 hours round the clock, day in, day out for the last 3 months. The House is concerned that the said staffers were blackmailed not to divulge their new working conditions to anybody, failing which they will lose their jobs. The House is further concerned that though the company's authority claims the workers were held back for health and safety measures, but they were made to work within the precincts in grueling conditions and compelled to swear to an oath of secrecy. The House is disturbed that not only does the above situation amount to an infringement of the fundamental right to liberty of the subjects, but to forced imprisonment as well as a flagrant abuse of several laws of the land, including the COVID-19 Regulations 2020, Labor Laws, and Companies and Allied Matters Act 2004. The House is conscious of the fact that the federal government COVID-19 regulations stipulates that all businesses and offices should be fully closed, except for those engaged in essential services. And given the fact that steel companies are not among the exempted essential services providers, their action therefore amounts to serious disrespect for our laws as well as a grave breach of their sworn social responsibility to Nigeria as a nation. The House acknowledged that not too long ago, in the thick of the global pandemic, we were scandalized to watch how the Chinese authorities dehumanized Nigerians in China by throwing them on the streets without shelter and protection of any kind. The House is therefore alarmed that as much as this is yet another sad reminder of how the Chinese ride rough, short over our laws, and treat Nigerians with so much disdain in their own country, and sadly too, in our own shores, the trend is becoming very worrisome and totally unacceptable. The House therefore resolves that the House should direct the Inspector General of Police to immediately send a crack team to storm the said Yongxin Steel Company in Edo State with a view to ascertaining the SOS call and to set free the said detained workers pending further investigation. The House also urged Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and the NCDC be put on notice about the incidents to ensure post-release management of the detained workers. The House also mandated the relevant committees of the House to be directed to follow through on this report to ensure that an investigation is carried out and appropriate sanctions meted to the Chinese company if found culpable. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Princess.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Princess Miriam Odinaka Onoaha. I represent Ise Alambano, Onimo, Okigwe Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. I rise to second this motion as ably moved by the minority leader. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Abejide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Leke Abejide, member representing the good people of Yagba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, to enable me move a motion of urgent public importance. And I want to crave your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, to enable me add the second leg of the same order, Rule 7, to enable us to suspend our rules so that I can move this motion of urgent public importance on the need to investigate the armed robbery attack on the First Bank and the killing of 8 police officers and other indigents of my constituency in Isolu, Yagba East local government area of Kogi State. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I am Honorable Abdullahi Ibrahim Halims, representing Ankpa Omala Federal Constituency, Kogi State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Leke. Thank you, sir.
Motion moved by Honorable Leke, seconded by Honorable Halims. I'll put the question on whether it's urgent enough to be taken now. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Leke, with your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague, I remain Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide, member representing the good people of Yagba Federal Constituency and from Kogi State. Need to investigate the armed robbery attack on First Bank branch and the killing of 8 police officers and other good citizens of Isolu, Yagba East local government area of Kogi State. Note with dismay the deadly armed robbery attack on First Bank branch and police station in Isolu, headquarters of Yagba East local government area of Kogi State, in which 8 police officers and several others were killed and wounded on the 4th of June, 2020. Also note that the robbers, numbering about 25, simultaneously attacked the First Bank and Isolu police station, where all these officers, including 3 women, were massacred. Starting from the DPO, who was gunned down along with 7 others in the same police station. Further note that the armed robbers, in the process of robbing the bank, killed the security guards, blew off the fortified doors of the bank with explosives, and carted away yet to be disclosed sum of amount.
Honorable Garraway, please, can you see the Deputy Speaker? Please.
Disturbed that the armed robbers managed to escape without being caught. Up to this moment, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, they are still at large. Further throwing the residents of Isolu and the environs into a state of panic over the pervading insecurity and helplessness of the security apparatus to protect themselves or the citizens. More worrisome was the length of time they operated unchallenged, which was about 3 hours. Dismayed that such pattern of bank robbery and killing of security agents is now common in the axis, and also among the stretch of the federal road of towns such as from Kaba, Ayetorogbede, Iyamoye, Odoire, down to Egbe. As I'm talking to you, there is no bank operating in this area. Concerned that if such attacks should continue, it may lead to closure of financial institutions in the town completely, and this may cripple commercial activities in the town and its environs. As I speak, there is no functional commercial bank, as I said, in the whole Yagba Federal Constituency. This is pathetic. Further concern that should efficient backup response be lacking at every count of this pattern of attacks, the citizens' confidence will be eroded, while the fundamental right to security and life of citizens as guaranteed in the Constitution will be trapped upon. The House resolved to, 1, urge the Inspector General of Police to increase the tempo of investigation to ensure that the perpetrators of these heinous acts are brought to book on time. 2, urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Inspector General of Police to ensure formidable security apparatus, including efficient backup response to armed robbery attacks in Isolu and its environs. 3, request the setup of a joint security task force comprising Army, Police, Air Force, NSCDC to be stationed at the border town of Kogi and Kwara at Isoluesa along Egbe Patiji Road, which serve as an escape route for those who robbed in Yagba Federal constituency because of complete absence of security agents in the whole area up to Kwara State. And lastly, sir, honorable colleague, mandate the House Committee on Police Affairs to investigate and report back to this House in 4 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Honorable Adiogu, can you second, please?
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Adiogu. I represent Akoko Southeast Federal Constituency. I'm from Ondo State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Leke. I so second.
Okay, very terrible armed robbery in Kogi State. I saw the video, actually. I think you sent it to me, Honorable Leke, the video for First Bank. I saw it. Very, very ghastly. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Jaha, Ahmed Jaha, Abao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, our respected colleagues. Permit me to rely on the suspension of Order 8, Rule 4, to bring up a matter of urgent public importance on the need to commend DCP Abba Kyari and his team in combating high-profile crimes and outstanding performance in the Nigerian police force. So I move. No leave.
Honorable Ari.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is QS Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin. I represent Nasarawa Toto Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Nasarawa State. I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by a colleague. I so second, sir.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Ahmed.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm a Jaha once again, and I represent Chief of Dambo Goza Federal Constituency. The House noted that 20 years ago, a brave young man by name Abba Kyari was among the few successful Nigerians to have been enlisted to the Nigerian police force as officers cadet. Also note that the young officer served in several states of the Federation, including Adamawa in the northeast and Lagos in the southwest. Observe that the gallant officer and his team recorded several successes in combating organized crime in Nigeria, which include arrest of the most notorious kidnapper known as Evans in Lagos, and the capture of the deadly kidnapper Vampire in Owerri, Imo State. Arrest of killer of the former Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Bade. Arrest of several Boko Haram commanders, including bomb makers and those responsible for the kidnap of famous Chibok girls. Arrest of deadly Ofa bank robbers that involved and invaded Ofa town in Kwara and robbed 5 different commercial banks and murdered over 31 innocent Nigerians, including a pregnant woman, making it the deadliest bank robbery in the country. Arrest of the syndicate of kidnappers, armed bandits, and their sponsors in Zamfara State after the gang kidnapped twin sisters before their wedding. Arrest of Osama and gang of deadly armed robbers and murderers who escaped from lawful custody in Kogi State. Successful neutralized and arrested over 70 different gang members who specializes in armed robbery, kidnapping, armed dealing, cattle rustling, bandits, and sophisticated highway robbers. Further observed that the gallant officer was a recipient of grand award and commendation for his patriotism, gallantry, and leadership, among which are as follows: IGP Medal for Courage between 2012 down to 2014. Lagos State Governor's Award for Gallantry, Leadership, and Service between 2011 to 2013. Africa's Best Detective of the Year Award 2018. Best Police of the Cadet Award 2018. Hero of the Year awarded by Silver Group. Presidential Medal for Courage from President Muhammad Buhari in 2011, and several other awards and medals. Aware that Nigerian crimes recorded an unprecedented, and that the number of the officers with similar characteristics with DCP Abba Kyari are very minimal, which therefore justify this commendation. Resolve to commend the DCP Abba Kyari for his courage, determination, patriotism, exemplary crime fighting and prevention, as well as outstanding performance as a senior police officer. So I move.
Honorable Michael Akpayo, please second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Dr. Michael Enyong, member representing Uyo, Udwan, Usalatai, Ibesputa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from the uncommon state of Akwa Ibom. Mr. Speaker, I rise. The second motion, Assembly moved. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
I think we're just going to put the question. But let me just make a quick comment on this motion. DSP Abba Kyari, I must confess, when I started hearing and reading about his achievements and successes, I felt he was a man worthy of commendation. And Honorable Jaha discussed this matter with me, and that's why the motion, in his last 20 years, he has done so much. And the House will be commending and recognizing him. I believe he will be on the floor. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Thursday. So I encourage everybody to be here on the floor tomorrow and Thursday. Being our last week closed session, tomorrow is our last day, our 1 year anniversary. So whether we'll mark it tomorrow or Thursday, I'm not sure, but please be here tomorrow and Thursday. So I'll put the question. Those in favor, please say aye.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker. Amendment, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Is that Shetima?
Yes, sir.
It's Coco, sir. Amendment, sir.
Yes, sir. Shetima, sir.
Shetima, what's your amendment?
My amendment, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Shetima Ali, representing Bursari, Gaidami Nusari Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Suggesting while commending, as raised by my colleague from Bono, I suggest that he should be honored with the national award, the highest national award, sir. That's my amendment.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Koko, before we go to your amendment, Honorable Ari, you want to second that amendment? Or was your, yeah, second.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable QS Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin. I represent Nasarawa Toto Federal Constituency. Sir, I rise to second the amendment raised by colleagues. I so second.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Koko, what's your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Shehu Koko. I speak for the good people of Koko, Besi, and Myanmar Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kebbi State. Mr. Speaker, sir, while supporting
and commending what General Jha has raised. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, DCP Abba Kyari, as a person I know very well, before I left the service of Nigerian Police Force, sir, I would like to make an amendment that when commending Abba Kyari, he should be commended together with the men he's working together. I know him very well, I know the team, since from when he was working in Lagos, wherever he transferred for being a crack squad of Nigerian police, but he moved with his men. To encourage them, they should be commended together with their boss so that the zeal to work for the nation will go together with them. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Speaker, for
Thank you, Honorable Koko. I think the whole idea, even though that was not part of the prayer, we are inviting him to the floor as part of our last day of activities in commending an outstanding police officer. I believe by extension you are commending the rest of the people that he has worked with, because he couldn't have done it alone. But it is his exemplary performance over 20 years that is worthy of commendation. And like I said, by extension, we're commending everybody else. Honorable Oluga, you want to second Honorable Koko's amendment?
Yes, sir. Amendment, sir. But let me
Oh, it's an amendment? No, somebody needs to second Honorable Koko's amendment. Honorable Duku.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Honorable Aisha Jibril Duku, Yimbiel Duku, member representing Dukuna for the Federal Constituency. I come from Gombe State. I rise to second the amendment as ably moved by Honorable Koko. I so second.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. I don't want us to have too many amendments so we don't dilute this very important motion. Honorable Luga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Taiwo Luga, representing all the good people of Irewole Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I crave the indulgence of this House.
Okay, I crave the indulgence of this House that if we can recognize the good work that the medical doctor in Ogun State that helped to detect the first index case in Nigeria, if you can bring her here and to celebrate her too, it will be a good one, sir. Thank you.
Your amendment is to commend the medical doctors in Ogun State by bringing out the first index case. That's a separate motion. It bears no relevance to this particular motion. You can, if you want, you can bring that motion separately. Okay, so we'll put the question. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, please make sure you write to the Inspector General of Police, even though it's not part of it, for permission to seek leave for DCP Abba Kyari to be on the floor. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Thursday, but I'll let you know. Very important. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, we debated. There is a motion on security in Nigeria, I think on Thursday, and our resolution was to have the security agents or agencies meet with the leadership and also to come to the floor. We didn't take no cognizance of the fact that Wednesday, which is tomorrow, will be our last 1 year, and we'll be closing on Thursday for a couple of weeks. So we will be inviting them, but we will not be able to do it this week. It'll probably be when we come back, just to let you know that we are very much aware of the resolution of Thursday. Before we move on, honorable colleagues, so on a very sad note that I announced the death of our former colleague in the 8th Assembly. This notice was brought by Honorable Mustapha Bala Dawaki. We announced the demise of a former member, Right Honorable Engineer Mohammed Bako Sarai, age 69, who represented Dawaki Kudu, Warawa Federal Constituency in Kano State. With total submission to the will of Allah, I write with heavy heart to convey to you the sad demise of Right Honorable Engineer Mohammed Bako Sarai, member of the 4th and 5th Assembly from 1999 to 2003 and from 2003 to 2007. His painful death occurred on Thursday, 4th June 2020 after a brief illness and subsequently buried in accordance with Islamic rite. He left behind 4 wives, 20 children, and a 117-year-old mother. Honorable colleagues, can we please rise for a minute's silence? May his soul rest in peace. Honorable colleagues, before we take our seat, we have unfortunately, one more moment of silence to observe. And this is in respect of our colleague's mother, Honorable Simon Karu. He lost his mother, I think, a couple of days ago. She was only 59 years old. Honorable Simon Karu represents Katungo in Gombe State. Can we please observe a minute's silence for her? 1 minute silence, please. May her gentle soul rest in peace. This one I'm not doing. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 7 bills, and I invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Honorable colleagues, order.
Silence, please. Honorable members, be seated, please. Honorable Salame, go to your seat. Honorable Zango Dora, resume your seat.
Honorable members, Foreign Exchange Act Amendment B 2020, first reading. Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act Repeal Bill 2020, first reading. Free Education Prohibition and Fees and Other Charges, Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Council for Psychologists Act, SRN Bill 2020, first reading. Microcredit Intervention Tax Fund Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Nutrition. Right to Education Bill 2020, first reading. mandate committees of legislative compliance, agriculture and rural development, defense and army to ensure compliance.
Chairman Police, please see the clerk. You don't see me. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter section 121 subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to reflect the authority of persons mandated to effect payments and receiving funding for the House of Assembly and judiciaries of states from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Ewo Iduma Igariwe. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 12 May 2020, and I invite Honorable Igariwe to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I'm Honorable Igariwe Iduma Ewo. I represent Afiko North, Afiko South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, we will have to stand down this bill for second reading today. So I humbly apply that we stand it down.
You're standing out the bill? Okay, bill stood down. Second order of the day is commencement on debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Price Control Act, Cap P28 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for stiffer penalties and make better provisions for the implementation of the price control regime in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Taiwo Olukemi Oluga. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 10th March 2020, and I invite Honorable Oluga to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleague. My name is Honorable Taiwo Oluga. I represent the entire people of Irewole Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Osun State. I rise this afternoon to read for the second time the principle of a bill for an act to amend the Price Control Act, Cap P28 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for severe penalties and to provide for better implementation of price control regime in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I so read.
Honorable Satomi, please second. Okay, Honorable Shatima, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable colleague, I remain Law Shetima Ali, representing Bursari Gaidam Unisar Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by our sister. I say second.
Honorable Igwe, how come you guys are sitting together without respecting the protocol? It's not good for you. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for you at all. Please maintain the social distance protocol. Let's have at least 4 seats between each member. It's very important. Okay, Honorable Oluga, lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Taiwo Oluga. I represent all the people of Irewole Federal Constituency. I am from Osun State. The whole idea behind this bill is simply one because as a parliament, Mr. Speaker, we are to make law that will improve the well-being of Nigerians and to promote development. Also, this involves a constant look at the lacuna in our laws and also to make necessary reviews and amendment to greater efficiency and to bring the laws in tandem with the reality of today. Mr. Speaker, the amendment of the Price Act is necessary at this point in time in which we are, especially globally all over the world, in which Nigeria is inclusive. One, because it will ensure that there is no unfair trade. Mr. Speaker, as we are in this pandemic period, the price has to be controlled, and we can't do this. The existing Price Control Act that still remain in existence as we speak today, Mr. Speaker, was enacted in 1977. Mr. Speaker, in reality, 1977 till date, there is no way we can compare.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
In 1977, and in reality of this that we are, especially during this pandemic period, so it is necessary for us as a house, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, to look into this bill, the act, and to amend it. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that the 1977 Act gives room for penalty of less than 2,000 naira. It means if a seller of a product sells beyond the control price, the penalty is less than 2,000 naira. That is not in reality with this current period in which we are. And we all know that in developed countries, Mr. Speaker, that it takes more than a decade,
please
even more than a decade for a product to increase its price.
Honorable Coco.
The framework has to be put in place. We have the framework, but the implementation, Mr. Speaker, we have to look into it. Also, Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that as a result of this, if you are able to put the price under control, if this act is, we are able to amend it, Mr. Speaker, it will go a long way in controlling inflation. And once inflation is being controlled by the masses out there, it means the cost of living will be avoidable for Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, to interest you to know that about 40% of Nigerians live below 400 naira in a day. And that means about 80 millions of Nigerians live below 400 naira. If they live below 400 naira, Mr. Speaker, it will be an eyesore for them to go out there and to buy things at exorbitant rates again. So therefore, the need for this honorable house, I'm pleading with my colleagues to support this bill, to scale through the second reading, so that we will not only be doing Nigerians good, we will also be key into the cardinal point, the major cardinal point of this administration in bringing down the poverty level to the BRS minimum level. How do I mean, Mr. Speaker? If look at the price of, for example, during this pandemic, the face masks we are using currently, before the pandemic, Mr. Speaker, it goes for less than 30 naira per unit. As we speak now, during the pandemic, when we're giving palliative to our constituents, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, we make face masks as high as 700 naira per unit, because nobody is controlling anything. We bought rice at different rates. A trailer of rice goes for maybe 11 million, 10 million, 12 million, 13 million. It depends on the area you are buying. And I think there should be measure, there should be control. Mr. Speaker, finally, before I will sit down, the constitution of the board that exists as Price Control Board as we speak, the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, their representative is not on the board. The Standard Organization of Nigeria is not on the board of price control. There's no way we can have a robust, is garbage in, garbage out. What the constitution of the board means will go a long way to what Nigeria will benefit from the board. So I urge my honorable colleagues this afternoon to please second this bill, the amendment, to scale through the second reading, as Nigeria out there will benefit tremendously out of it, and it will go a long way in keying to the agenda of this administration in reducing poverty. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Fine. Okay, so we just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Honorable Osai was trying to oppose it, so I didn't allow him. Honorable Osai and Honorable Chris Azubugo. Honorable Luga, Honorable Osai and Honorable Chris Azubugo were trying to go against your bill. So talk to them. The ayes have it. Yes, Clark, please read the long title.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, a bill for now to amend the Price Control Act, Chapter P28, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for stiffer penalties and make better provision for implementation of the price control regime in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Honorable Taiwo Oluga's bill is referred to the Committee on Commerce. Third order of the day is a motion on the call to investigate the abandonment of the rehabilitation of Otuocha, Ibali Nzam, Inoma, Ihiaka, Ibali, section of the Otuocha, Ibali, Odulu, Alegu Road in Anambra State. Standing in the name of Honorable Chinedu Benjamin, Honorable Odigwe Benjamin, Obidigwe Benjamin is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Obidigwe Benjamin Chinedu, Anambra East and West Federal Constituency, Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, my motion is a call to investigate the abandonment of rehabilitation of Otuocha, Ibaji, Nzam, Inoma, Ihaka, Ibaji section of Otuocha, Ibaji Odolu, Alegu Road in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the contract for the rehabilitation of Otuocha, Ibaji, Nzam, Inoma, Ihaka, Ibaji section of Otuocha, Odolu, Ajegu Road was awarded to Messias Niger Construction Limited on 16th December 2009 at the cost of 7,909,755 naira, 40 kobo.
Honorable, have you moved your motion? It hasn't been seconded.
Mr. Speaker.
You are still moving it.
Silence, please. Silence, please.
The House also notes that the sum of 2,890,412,091 naira 75 kobo only had been paid to the contractor to enable him execute the project shortly after the award of the contract, leaving a balance of 4,283,497,663 naira 65 kobo only. The House informed that in the 2014 Appropriation Act, the sum of 400 million naira was budgeted for continuation of work, and 800 million naira was budgeted in 2017 Appropriation Act for the project. But regrettably, the completion level of the rehabilitation work is at abysmal 46.55%. The House consigned that the road rehabilitation project that was awarded 11 years ago was last funded in 2017, that thus leading to its abandonment by the contractor, to the chagrin of the people of the communities where the road traverses. The House also informed of the importance of the road, which when completed will reduce the time of traveling from Abuja to Otuocha in Anambra State by at least 2 hours, thereby cutting out the cost and inconveniences of commuters having to go through the length of Kogi and the Enugu states rather than through Ajaokuta to Otuocha. The House further informed that the road will be invaluable in the evacuation of farm produce from communities along it whose inhabitants are predominantly farmers, and enhance socioeconomic activities in the area. The House resolved to mandate the Committee on Works to conduct an investigation on issue relating to the project to determine the reasons for the abandonment of the contract upon the huge sum already paid. 2, the House also mandated the Committee on Works to interfere with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing on ways to ensure the provision of funds in the 2021 budget proposal for the completion of the project, as it is overdue. Mr. Speaker, I hereby moved the motion.
Honorable Johnson.
Let me pass before you move. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And my respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Johnson Egwahide Oguma. I represent all the people of Etako Federal Constituency, Edo State, the heartbeat. I rise to second the motion powerfully and ably moved by my fellow colleagues, Honorable Chinedu. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, honorable colleagues, this is an infrastructure motion, so I'm going to just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry, I didn't hear you. The gavel is gone now. Is a motion on need to open up rural roads to connect communities frequently attacked by Boko Haram insurgents in local government areas contiguous to the Sambisa forest, standing in the name of Honorable Haruna Michela. Honorable Michela is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Your Excellency, honorable members. My names are Honorable Haruna Michelia. I represent all the good people of Askra Bahawal Federal Constituency of Borno State. Your Excellency, I stand to move a motion on the need to open up rural roads to connect communities that are frequently attacked by Boko Haram insurgents in local government areas contiguous to the infamous Zambiza forest in my constituency. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that several communities consisting of towns, villages, and hamlets, including Tashan Alade, Kirmi, Garbola, Debro, Tarfa, Mandragirao, Harang, Gulde, Ngohi, Mbulakudige, Chanchandana, Lehu, Askra, Bijibiji, and Garkida.
Members, please resume your seats. I don't want to mention your names. Resume your seats.
Howul, Askra Uba, Federal Constituency in Borno State.
Resume their seats. Honorable members, please stop loitering. Can we resume our seats, please? We cannot hear the mover of the motion.
Sarah Soli, resume your seat, please. Honorable Sarah Soli, resume your seat. It's not allowed.
Please resume your seats. A motion is being moved and we cannot hear anything. Members at the back, can you please resume your seats?
Thank you, Your Excellency.
We're not done yet. Just hold.
Okay.
Who's there at the back there on the left?
Honorable Makama Miso, resume your seat.
Yeah, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The House also notes that the rural roads can be divided into three. One, from Tashang Alade to Kirmi, to Garbola, to Debro, to Tarfa, and ends in Mandragrao. Second one is starting from Kirmi, Harang, Gulde, Ngohi, Bulakuduge, Chanchandana, Lehu, and it will end in Askra. And the third one, which is a short one, from Ngohi to Bijibiji, and it ends in Garkida. The House further notes, Mr. Speaker, that all these communities were at one time or the other severally attacked by Boko Haram. But because of their resilience, all these communities still have people living there. Cognizant, Mr. Speaker, that the road infrastructure, which are dearly needed to link up these communities to access the huge agricultural produce coming from the region yearly. The House is also worried that due to the...
Honorable Benson and Honorable Badru, please. Honorable Badru, I know you are my Lagos caucus leader, but please. Honorable Benson, I know you are the chairman defense, but please. Continue.
The House is worried that due to the proximity of these communities to the infamous Zambiza forest, the lack of this basic infrastructure means that even our security forces find it difficult to pursue the insurgents. The House is also aware that it is the responsibility of government to provide such basic infrastructure to communities such as these. Also aware that the Northeast Development Commission, Mr. Speaker, was created to solve problems in the Northeast zone such as this. Cognizant that provision of good rural roads with culverts and military-type bridges will go a long way in mitigating the security challenges in this area and also the evacuation of the agricultural produce from this zone. The House therefore resolves, Mr. Speaker, to urge the Northeast Development Commission in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Ministry of Defense through the Army Engineering Corps to, as a matter of urgency, commence the construction of rural roads connecting all these communities. Also, Mr. Speaker, to mandate the committees of legislative compliance agriculture and rural development, defense and army to ensure compliance. I so move, Your Excellency. Thank you, sir.
Okay, this is a function of the Northeast Development Corporation, and it's an infrastructure motion. So, but I think we need to second it first. Honorable Yemi Ali, please second.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ali Adeyemi Taufik. I'm from Motion 1 Constituency in Lagos. I rise to second the motion. Speak. Mr. Speaker.
And I think maybe the leader too. Yes.
Your Excellency, the Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wase, Federal Constituency, Plateau State. The Speaker, respected colleagues, I want to draw the attention of the House that some of the very laudable good jobs that were done in terms of operating agencies is to mitigate or solve problems like of this kind of nature. We have Northeast Development Commission whose sole responsibility is to ensure the development of these areas. And I think we do not need to go again and again, duplicate issues and then create confusion. That's why I want to draw the attention to the House that this is a sole responsibility of that very good agency that was established, and I want to beg that they should be allowed to do their job. This matter should be referred to them for handling. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So I'll put it, so rather than legislative compliance, Northeast Development Corporation. So I'll put the question. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Matter referred to the Northeast, the Honorable Khadija Committee. Fifth order of the day is a motion on need to stop the entry of herdsmen from other African countries into Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, the Honorable Melu is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of our Northeast in the Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. The House notes that in recent years, herdsmen have been on rampage, destroying farmlands, burning villages, and killing of innocent Nigerians indiscriminately in many states across the Federation. Also notes that the Nigerian security agents have consistently stated that those herdsmen are not Nigerians, but migrants from other African countries. The House is concerned that those herdsmen who are militant in nature have consistently instilled fear in lives of local farmers and villagers living in the affected areas by the use of coercion, intimidation, brute force, and extreme violence in most cases, leaving a large number of persons dead. The House is also concerned that the violent conflict between the herders from neighboring countries and local farmers is escalating by the day due to more states of the Federation, and if left unchecked, will further threaten the security and stability of the nation. The House is further concerned that the clashes are becoming potentially as dangerous as the Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast. Yet, to date, response to the crisis at both the federal and state levels have been very poor and ineffective. The House believes that it has become necessary to lend a voice to His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, that a stop be put to the movement of herdsmen from other African countries to Nigeria, so as to curb the rate of crime and conflict associated with their movement across Nigeria. The House therefore resolves to urge the federal government to put a halt to the entry of herdsmen from other African countries into Nigeria. The House further mandate committees on police affairs, army, and interior to interface with the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, and the Controller General of Nigerian Immigration Service. respectively, on the best ways of policing and securing Nigerian borders. I so move.
Leader, you want a second? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Gideon Gwadi. I come from Kaduna State and I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the minority leader. I beg to second.
Honorable Melu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in recent time, we've had issues with the herdsmen. And initially, every Nigerian thought that the herdsmen were Nigerians. But often and on, when you go to most villages ranging from northeast, northwest, southeast, south-south, southwest, you will find these herdsmen attacking the villagers. And it has become a threat to our farmers who are always in the farm trying to produce food for Nigerians. And during this COVID-19, it has been very clear that all the food crops that were housed, most of them are almost gone. The other day, one of our colleagues from Kebbi State, Honorable Danduse, alluded to the fact that they are no longer safe in going to farm. He is a rice miller, and it's difficult for them. And given that we have even put a ban on imported rice, it becomes very necessary for us to support our farmers in their farm produce. And when you go to villages, let me take for instance my federal constituency, Mr. Speaker, if I show you videos of what that has been happening, how our farmers are being butchered on daily basis, you cannot imagine. Just 3 days ago, even the governor of Kano State shouted out that it is high time federal government block all our borders to avoid all these herdsmen who are coming from African nations infiltrating themselves into our country. And that if it is not checked, that it will be difficult for our farmers to be able to go to the farm and plant our things like rice, cassava, and other things that are edible. So, Mr. Speaker, the motion is basically to put a voice and call on federal government to call Nigerian police, the Chief of Army Staff, the Immigration CG, to see that they hold firm our borders and avoid these so-called herdsmen from other African nations from entering into our country. When that happens, it will help our farmers to go back to their various farms. Most of the farmlands across the whole nation have entirely been abandoned because they are all afraid that when they go into their farm, the next thing they will see will be that they will be attacked. And it has become very difficult. And if this is not checked, Mr. Speaker, it may be difficult for us to see anything coming from the farm. So I plead on my colleagues to support this motion so that the federal government will urgently deploy task force to ensure that all our borders are seriously manned. And I'm even surprised, Mr. Speaker, because the borders are closed. So there is need to find out how do they even get in, given that our borders are closed. Why and how do they find themselves into our country and thereby causing all the mayhem that they are causing? So please, fellow colleagues, support this motion.
Those in support, please say aye. Amendment. Okay, looks like there might be a little, Honorable Mongunu.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno Ganze Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I fully support this motion. The problem with the prayer is that the free movement of these herdsmen and their cattle to Nigeria is purely as a result of the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and services. It was as a result of this that they have unimpeded access to Nigeria, these herdsmen with their cattle. So long as this ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and services is not amended to stop them, so long will they continue to have unimpeded access to Nigeria. That is my observation. So my amendment is that Nigeria should, in conjunction with other ECOWAS member nations, amend the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and services so that these herdsmen cannot have unimpeded access to Nigeria with their cattle. That is my amendment.
Honorable Benson, do you want to second the amendment as moved by Honorable Mongunu? Do you want to second Honorable Mongunu's amendment?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Baba Jimmy Benson. I stand to second the amendment ably moved by my leader, Honorable Mongunu. I so second.
What was his amendment?
The amendment was on the motion moved by my minority leader, Honorable Elumoli, or about the ECOWAS protocol, sir.
Okay, what was he trying to amend? What did he say? Because I couldn't hear him because of the
ECOWAS protocol allows free flow of movement across borders of goods and services.
Pardon?
ECOWAS protocol, sir, permits free movement along borders of goods and services, Mr. Speaker.
So what was the amendment?
The amendment is that the motion may infringe on free movement of goods and services, Mr. Speaker.
So he was speaking against the motion?
He wasn't. He wanted an amendment. So
and his amendment is what?
The amendment that the motion observes the protocol of free movement by ECOWAS. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mongunu? Honorable Mongunu? Honorable Mongunu? Are you satisfied? Honorable Mongunu? Are you satisfied that Honorable Benson seconded your amendment properly?
Well, it's like he's not fully seized of the fact, but he has seconded. Though he's not fully seized of the content of my amendment.
Your nose mask, you have to change it. Nobody can hear you. Maybe that's why you are giving Honorable Benson an opportunity now. Secondment. Give your nose mask for a minute. Did you agree with it?
Well, that's why I said I agree with his amendment.
Those against it say the ayes have it. Honorable Sada Soli, you want to oppose the move to tighten our borders from foreigners? Honorable Sada, did you want to oppose that? Because I understand the motion.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm calling under the rule of debate that because of the nature of the motion and because they are allowed to speak in favor or against, because there is the policy of the federal government. Rule of debate. Mr. Speaker.
The order so that they want. One second. Members want to know the order so that they can open their books and follow you. Which order? So, me too, I want to know which order. That you point to the order for the benefit of members.
Which order? Which order? Mr. Speaker, because there is a policy of the federal government on, so we need to debate on this.
Did you say order 5? Order 5, rule 3. To the order, what is the, read order 5, rule 3. What is we've heard your order, but what is it?
What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, is that going by the nature of the motion and going by the policy of the federal government on visa on arrival, I'm saying that we should debate on this motion so that we don't, because I can see the mood of the Mr. Speaker, I want to put the question already, so that we debate it.
Generally, we would have debates, but we live in extraordinary times. And from the time we resumed sitting 2 months ago or whatever, we have actually generally suspended rigid adherence to our rules because we are in a confined space and we need to, if we debate this, it will take another 30 minutes. But if you want to oppose it, your voice is there to oppose it. So we had an amendment and we passed that amendment. Honorable Sai.
I am in support of the motion because what is worth doing is worth doing well. No, I'm not amending. I'm contributing.
I think Honorable Osai just wants to contribute for a minute. Let's allow him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The origin of solving our problem in terms of security start from that motion. Mr. Speaker, where you can curb the movement of persons from the border, it goes a long way in checking the security of a country because you don't know who is coming to that country. They will come with different things that probably destabilize the communal existence of Nigerians in their various communities. And secondly, when you destabilize the existence of Nigerian community, definitely it's going to affect the food shortage. To affect the food supply, the chains of the food will be destabilized and disconnected. So I believe, Mr. Speaker, that the minority leader motions is timely, it's in order, it's in line also with ECOWAS protocol. Why do I say that it's in line with ECOWAS protocol? It's in line because for you to enter a country, you must come with a valid passport. And with no valid passport, that's within the ECOWAS sub-region. You must enter a country, you must be satisfied what you are going to that country to do without visa. You enter that country to do because that's what the ECOWAS protocol talks about. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I think it's very, very timely that the committee of the House should enter into the matter so that we can address this situation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, let's wrap up this debate after Honorable Nasir Ali Ahmed, please. Honorable Nasir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Nasir Ali Ahmed. I represent Nasarawa Federal Constituency and I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make an amendment to the motion moved by the minority leader. While I do support the motion, Mr. Speaker, but my amendment is that it should be the need to stop the illegal entry of herdsmen, the illegal entry of herdsmen into the country. Because, Mr. Speaker, I believe that there are some of them that come in legally to sell their cattle within Nigeria, and we cannot stop them from doing that because we also export our own goods to other African countries. So, Mr. Speaker, my amendment is
the need to stop the illegal entry of herdsmen. Thank you very much.
Honorable Rurum, can you second that amendment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Kabir Al-Asururum. I represent Rano Bunkura Kibe Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I am from Kano. I rise to second the motion of amendment as moved by Honorable Nasr Al-Ahmed. I so second.
Those against me say nay. The ayes have it. In favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, we have carried the campaign against saying no to rape to the House, and the campaign continues. There's a table out there set up. Please, as you file out, do your 1-minute video for your constituents, warning them against gender-based violence and rape. Very important. It's been set out there for members, for those who haven't done their bit. Please, as we file out, make sure you do so. Just 30 seconds to a minute to your constituents. The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the Nigerian police. Sorry, Bukubo here. I saw him earlier. Okay, yes. The sixth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the Nigerian Police Force Pension Limited for failure to meet its pension and gratuity obligations. Standing in the name of Honorable Ali Adeyemi Taufik. Honorable Taufik is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ali Adeyemi Taufik. I represent Motion 1 Constituency in Lagos. Mr. Speaker, the motion before me need to investigate the Nigerian Police Force Pension Limited for failure to meet with its pension and gratuity obligations. The House knows that the Nigerian Police Pension Reforms, which stated with the incorporation and cooperation of MPS Pension Limited in October 2013, was initiated to address deficiencies of the current contributory pension scheme peculiar to the Nigerian Police Force. Aware that peculiarities, which include the consideration of personnel data crucial to obtaining pension contribution from CBN and effectively managing critical welfare issues such as group life assurance and health insurance scheme, were highlighted to be strategic security importance and should be managed by the NPA Pensions Limited. Informed that after incorporation of the NPA Pension Limited, PENCOM in April 2014 directed existing pension fund administration to move 305 billion naira police pension assets to Nigerian Police Force Pension Limited. Cognizance that employers' pension contribution of 15.8 billion, 16.6 billion, and 16.6 billion, and 19.7 billion were paid by the federal government from 2015 to 2019 respectively to the NPA Pension Limited as government contributions. Consider that despite the PENCOM regulatory supervision, there are various pending fraud cases stirred by ESCC against officials of NPA Pensions Limited. Worried that many police retirees have started protesting to the police hierarchy about the reduction of their entitlements, while others have since joined the wagon of pensioners who don't receive their monthly pensions and gratuity in full settlement due. Also worried that the retired officers who have been shortchanged after their services to the nation may resort to taking advantage of the loopholes in the security architecture of the country, which they are aware of, to perpetrate receive of peculiarity gains to feed their families. This House resolved to mandate the committees on police affairs and pension to investigate the immediate and remote causes of the NPS Pension Limited inability to meet its monthly pension obligations and the timely payments of gratuities to retiring police officers and fall back with findings and recommendations for a model to prevent future misappropriation. Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, I so move, sir. Thank you.
Whip, please protect me from minority leader. Sam.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I'm Honorable Samson Oku, member representing Odu of the Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise to second this motion heavily moved by my friend and a brother, Honorable Ali. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do we just put the question?
Amendment, sir.
What's the amendment?
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the content of the motion, you realize that group life insurance cover for policemen is involved, where the sum assured must be 3 times annual emolument of a police officer. So I amend as follows. Mandate the Committee on Police Affairs, Pension, and Insurance and Actuarial Matters. And insurance and actuarial matters, because an insurance matter is deeply involved for group life insurance coverage for police officers. And the sum assured of that particular group life insurance cover must be 3 times annual emolument of a police officer. So I move.
Seconder. Michelle.
Thank you, Excellency. I remain Honorable Haruna Muselia. I represent the people of Accra that have federal constituency. Your Excellency, I stand to second the amendment moved by Honorable Jaha. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say nay. The nays have it. Is somebody trying to move another amendment? My own is to warn you, going by the mood of the House. You want to move an amendment. What's your amendment? What's your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Edola Rewaju, representing all the people of Abeokuta South Federal Constituency. This is a very, very good motion on pension. But the only amendment that I want to add is the time frame. That within time duration for 2 weeks, they should report back to the House. 2 or 4 weeks, Mr. Speaker, they should report back to the House. Thank you.
Okay, the motion was for investigation. Well, what was the time frame for the motion itself? No time. Okay, so you are now putting a 4-week time frame. Okay, Honorable OC Prestige, can you please second?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished Honorable colleagues, I am Honorable OC Prestige, member representing the people of Abanot, Abasa Federal Constituency. I rise to second this very important amendment heavily made by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk. CBR. For Chris. Leader of the House, please move for adjournment.
Thank you, right honorable Speaker.
One second, sorry, Leader, I'm just being reminded by the Chief Whip for the 1 minute silence for on the robbery attack and the policemen that died in Kogi State. So we'll just rise for a minute, please. May souls of the departed rest in peace. National Association of Resident Doctors. Resident doctors have given a notice of strike on the 15th of June. I will be having a meeting with them in my office at 3 p.m. All chairmen of the two chairmen of the relevant committees, Honorable Pascal and Honorable Sununu, please join me at the meeting 3 p.m. Of the health committee chairman. Leader. I go, we are joining. No. Hmm?
Right honorable Speaker, honorable members, Ado Dogwa remains my name, representing Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm from Kano State. I rise as directed by the right honorable Speaker to move that this House do adjourn to tomorrow, Wednesday, the 10th day of June 2020 by 11 o'clock. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Honorable Okudiri, step aside.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Leader of the House that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, Wednesday, the 10th of June, 2020. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.